Hi everybody, this is Noggin, and today on the first 10 minutes we're going to explore dueling assassins on Kha'Zix, stalking the wild Katarina. So let's get into it. Alright, so here we are. I'm playing Kha'Zix. I'm playing Kha'Zix mid. And I'm actually, to be completely blunt, I'm not actually very good at Kha'Zix mid. I'm actually playing him because I find him both interesting and challenging. As a fledgling mid player, he forces me to consider various challenging aspects of the lane because he's a melee. He's a little bit frail, but he does a lot of damage, so he's very much about positioning. So anyway, this is me going, hey, well, I'm going to learn more. When I was actually in Champion Select, one of the people was like, there was a lot of debate. It was one of those Champion Selects where people were kind of bickering amongst themselves about who's going to play what. And there's, one player who's complaining that he can't play anything, blah, 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 and everyone's ruining his day, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he had said, like, oh, Kha'Zix is great jungle, because I think he wanted me to say, well, jungle, so he could mid. And I was like, yeah, well, I could ruin a Kha'Zix jungle, no problem. And I could. But anyway, so here we are. I'm leaning against Katarina. And so this is dueling assassins. And I actually had picked Kha'Zix into Katarina. I thought of a couple different champions I was interested in playing. And the thing is with Katarina, she actually has to get right up to you to really do her good abilities. And so I figured that Kha'Zix was the most dangerous for her to get up close to. As you'll see here, get a little auto attack, get a taste of fear on, does a little painful damage on Katarina. And so we're basically laning, and I had committed to myself to focus on last hitting, but I found Katarina's presence very distracting, not surprisingly. And so we kind of go back and forth, and I get where I like, which is freezing the lane right here. And she came to the lane with sustain, and I came to the lane with sustain. I didn't really know how the matchup would pan out. And so I figured I would start with lots of potions and a crystalline flask. She started with boots and potions, and the reason with boots is just that you can almost max out on potions and have enough for boots. So she got one less potion and got boots, so that she was going to be building into something for the late game. And now we're getting close to the first little bit of action. So we're both level 3, and it's time to get a little aggro on her because she's hanging around my minion wave, and so let's do it. Alright, so if we look at the math for level 3 Kha'Zix versus Katarina, I added from past weeks, I've added something. I've been buying runes for Kha'Zix. I've been actually getting some rune page done, and so what he has is he has penetration, armor penetration. And the mastery, so not the runes, but just the masteries you can configure for your champion just by playing the game. He happens to be going down the offensive tree, so he has 6% armor penetration, but then from the runes he has 14 flat armor penetration. And so what that means is her armor is 29. First percent reduction takes place. So this is from the masteries. So against my physical attacks, her armor is actually only 27.26. But then we minus the flat penetration from the runes, and her armor is actually only a little bit above 13 armor against my physical damage. And so as we see here, her health is 550. Now, what we have is I actually can't really kill her. If I get everything off, including my ignite, I'm just not close enough. And so there's actually quite a few little fights that take place in this video, so let's actually take a look at what actually happened. But we'll see that if I unload everything, which is 2 auto attacks, one with Unseen Predator, which is my passive, and then a full rotation of spells, and then my ignite, I don't actually have enough to kill her. I'd actually have to get in... I'd have to get in 2 more auto attacks. So it'd have to be a pretty drawn out fight for me to get her, and then it would be pretty close. So let's take a look. All right, so I get up on her grill. Let's see what it goes. Taste their fear. Auto attack. I hit a minion with my void spikes, but I jump on her, and I hit her with another auto attack, and Taste Her Fear is coming off of cooldown. So I'm actually getting 2 Taste Her Fears in. She's at 150 hit points. If I'd actually ignited and hit her once more, she would have died, but I didn't think that. I may not have been able to get the hit. I mean, she did flash away. But it was a pretty good exchange. And then I basically keep on farming. I had told myself, okay, I'm going to farm, I'm going to farm, I'm going to farm. So I'm like, let her go, I'm going to farm. Maybe I pushed her out of lane. And so we kind of go a little bit here. Speed up a little bit. So we're kind of humming along. And I'm doing my farming. I'm going to hit level 4. I hit level 4, and she comes back. And she's chugging a health pop, and she's only at 350 hit points. And so, and I'm 1 level above her, and although she pokes me, I'm like, I think this is an opportunity. So let's look at the math now. All right, so let's take a look at level 4 Kha'Zix. So she did a little tiny loop-to-loop around the brush to come back to lane from behind while chugging a potion, which although it gives her more health, it's not a lot of health. I mean, she left at 150. She's come back. She's about 350 now, but still very, very low. And meanwhile, I've actually gotten tougher. I'm 1 level up on her. Taste of Fear does more damage. Ignite does more damage, and I didn't use it in the last fight. And so she's at 350 health, and if I just do not even 2, I don't think I have the Unseen Predator, but if I just do an auto attack, 1 rotation of spells, in fact, I don't even need the auto attack. If I basically just hit her with Taste Their Fear, Void Spike, Leap, and Ignite, then she's dead. And so it's actually, she's really, really vulnerable coming into lane. And this is, of course, something that happens a lot. If you come in, if you're laning against an assassin, which is, assassins are designed for real high spike damage, and you're low health, that's a problem because you're often, if you're low health in lane, you don't want to leave because you want to stay for the farm and you want to stay for the XP. You don't want to fall behind. But if you're low health in lane, you're basically playing straight into their strength, which is quick burst for a small amount of for a big chunk of hit points. So let's see what happened. So here she is. Katarina has come back to lane. I have more hit points. I have a higher level, and I sense an opportunity. So here it comes. Wait for it. I leap. I hit her with the leap. I hit her with a Taste of Fear. I hit her with Ignite. I hit her with an auto attack, and I hit her with my Void Spikes. And even though she's gonna die, I didn't know the math well enough instinctually, so I flashed for the final kill. But I actually could have let the Ignite just finish her off. But I didn't know that at the time because I hadn't done the math before the fight. So, pretty good. Kha'Zix gets a kill. And we'll kind of go. I go back and buy. She goes back and buy. She gets some damage. I get some damage. Come back to lane. And we kind of lane against each other, and she pokes me and pokes me and pokes me. So nothing too exciting here. Almost gets me. That was me making the mistake that she made, which is not respecting how low my health was. And I really can't stick around too long. I can't remember, but hopefully I don't. Oh, I guess I do. Yeah, that's right. I had a crystalline flask, and I had some potions, so I was basically consuming them. And coming up here is another opportunity. And that is that I turn level 6 before she does. Now, Kha'Zix is a huge power spike at level 6. You can see me, I evolve my claws. And then, now the question is, should I dive her where she's at right now? Let's find out. Alright, so this is Kha'Zix level 6. Now, I'll just spoil it for you because I don't want it to be too much of a letdown. I actually don't dive her because I didn't actually fully respect, as a new Kha'Zix player, I did not fully respect what an immense power spike he has at level 6. Even though I sort of, part of me knew, I didn't really know. And a lot of the assassins are the same way. At level 6, they have a huge power spike because their ultimate is some sort of assassination-based ability. In the case of Kha'Zix, his ultimate 1 allows him to turn invisible twice. And every time he turns invisible, he becomes unseen, so he actually gets his auto attacks have unseen predators. So it's possible, for example, to basically hit 2 attacks with unseen predator, which adds another 110 magic damage. So that's one thing. The other thing is that he evolves one of his abilities. And from an assassination point of view, normally what they evolve is Taste Their Fear, and his claws stick out, and you kind of see that. And what Taste Their Fear is, when it's evolved, is one that has a higher range along with his auto attacks, so it's easier for him to hit auto attacks. But in addition, although I didn't do the math before, it always had an isolation bonus. But what it does is it does missing health damage. So if you basically it does 8% missing health, and I just estimated in this case, Katarina's max hit points are about 900. At the moment that I had an opportunity to dive, she had 524. But let's say I dove in with a leap, did a little damage. I assumed that maybe she'd be missing about 450 health times 0.8, so it's 36. So it's not a lot, but it gets bigger and bigger the lower health they go. And then with isolation, you always have the isolation, but Katarina's been fighting in the minion waves. If she gets separated from the minion wave, then I do a huge spike extra damage. Kha'Zix is really about picking off lone stragglers. But as you can see here, if I get, let's actually just assume that, let's assume no isolation bonus. My ignite is down, but it's only down for 30 seconds. So basically, right now, if I did a full rotation of spells on her and 2 auto attacks, one with an invisibility, then I would actually get really close to killing her. Like, she would be really close to dead. Now I'd have to not miss my void spike like in the previous or the first attempt, but I'd have to hit her with it. However, if I actually used, like, leaped in and then turned invisible to attack, and then attacked, and then turned invisible and attacked again, so I got 2 unseen predators, I'd actually do enough to kill her, which is pretty interesting to me. But more importantly, if I actually just wait like 30 seconds, so ignite comes up, then I do a lot of damage. You know, I could hit her with 1 auto attack. I could probably even miss one of my other abilities, and I would do so much damage from the ignite that would kill her. Unfortunately, I did not dive her, so that's too bad. But it is a lesson learned that Kha'Zix has a huge damage spike at level 6, and if his ignite is up at level 6 too, it's an enormous damage spike that he can actually take down someone that's close to 700 hit points, which is very, very potent, even if they're standing in the middle of their minion wave, and even more so if they get isolated. Unfortunately, didn't do the dive. So that's all for this 10 minutes. The next few minutes is basically just farming. There's no more fights. There's no more really interesting opportunities. But I hope that was educational to see the kind of math of how an assassin transforms over the course of his early levels. And to pay attention to the damage spikes when you're playing, or your power spikes when you're playing an assassin, and make sure you get them when you can. Make sure you make use of them when they happen. So if you liked this video, please like it. If you really liked it, please subscribe. And I will catch you all next time. See you in the Rift.